My brother, he got my whole family to invest in this business. I told him from the get-go it was a scam. You don't mix business with family. But when I tried to tell them and warn them, well, they said no, I'm just being jealous because he came up with an idea first. Oh yeah, well let's see how that pays off. My parents and my family are trying to make me do something that I don't want to do. And even though I've refused, they're trying to guilt-trip me into making me feel bad. So I want you guys to judge the situation and tell me if I'm being the a-hole by not agreeing to their ridiculous demand. My name's Brent, and I live with my girlfriend June in the city. I work a good enough job. My family, including my parents, Millie and Apollo, live in a nearby town, which is my hometown. They live close to my uncle and aunt and a few other relatives. We have a lot of relatives in town and in the city, as we have a big family. Now, the main person behind what's happening to me is actually my brother, who also lives not very far from my parents. I'm only saying that he is at the center of this, but I'm not blaming him because my family is doing this to me, not him. I don't think that he even wants my help, but he's the reason I'm saying no to the family. So I guess you can blame him a little. So Rain is 3 years younger than me, and although we're full brothers, we have never had a brotherly kind of relationship. Maybe we did when we were very young, but I don't remember. All I remember is him being a jerk and always trying to get me in trouble. Being the big brother, I always thought that it was my responsibility to love my little brother and take care of him no matter what. But Rain made it very tough because he's genuinely hating me. I don't remember when the animosity started, but I do know the reason and I kind of understand it. It's because I was better than him at everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Unfortunately, he was a born competitive, but he never tried his hardest and all he did was complain. He saw me working hard and things I wanted to do and studying hard to get the results. But when he did, I always said that I was lucky to be talented. Yes, I had a talent for one or two things, but it still required a lot of training and hard work. Being talented in something just means that it comes easier than you. But hard work always beats everything. Because I consistently outperformed him and brought in trophies and medals and I got praised a lot. Now, this was also an issue for Rain, and he's always tried to frame me for something so that I would get scolded instead of praised. Instead of being inspired to do better than me, he always just complained and probably believed that I was taking attention away from him. No matter how much I tried to build a relationship with him, he always just showed me that he hated me. He always just tried to use me or frame me, and he started causing problems in my life when he realized he wasn't going to beat me. So he tried to pull down to his level. He tried to frame me several times, and as he kept failing, everyone started seeing what kind of person he truly was. Now, even though it would have been fair to just give up on Rain after everything he did to me or tried, I still wanted to have a relationship, and believe me, I tried my best from my entire college years to even a few years after that. But I never grew on him. Now, I may be a big brother, but I also have a limit on my patience and how much I can take. At one point, I realized that trying was useless, because he never saw me as his family. So I decided to do something, well, the same thing he did. Ignore. As you can guess, after I stopped trying, we did not have much of a relationship. My family members refused to blame him. They didn't blame me either, but my parents and others would always ask me to not give up. But after years of trying, I knew that it was not worth it, so after college I worked hard, got a good job, and slowly built a good career while my brother wasted his time getting rich quick stuff and drowned a lot of money. Not only this, but also our families. He did part-time jobs, but never tried to get a good job because he did not want to be stuck in a 9-to-5. He tried several things, but he failed, and believe me, it brings me no joy to say this. Every time I heard about it, I felt bad. Unlike him to me, I wanted him to succeed and do better in life. I wanted my family to be proud of him and even advised him several times, but he would just not listen. I also blame my family, especially my parents, because it's because of them that he is in this situation. Every time he fails, they don't let him learn a lesson from it and bail him out. They've been several instances where they refused to let him confront his failures by helping him and the other family members do the same. If he deals with the aftermath, then he's going to learn to work hard and do better. If a person does not get to learn from his mistakes, how is he supposed to grow and get better? But nobody in my family understands that. The worst of it happened a few years ago when my brother lied to take money from me. He made my mom ask me for money, telling me that she needed it, and I obviously gave it to her without thinking much. A few weeks later, I learned that it was actually for my brother, who had already used most of it, and it made me so mad. I first exploded on my mom for lying to me, and she told me it was to help my own brother, but I refused to listen. Then I gave Rain a week to return everything before I took it myself. I did not appreciate being lied to and told him if he needed help, he could have just asked me. But my parents bailed him out of that too by forcing me to forget about it, and by telling me that if I kept asking him, they would pay it for him. I didn't want to take money from them or make them sad, so I had to let it go. See, this is what they always do. I've told them and my other family members countless times, but they refuse to listen. So now let me come to the real issue at hand. About 2 weeks ago, my mom asked me if I could lend her about $20,000 and gave me a very vague reason. Of course, I had learned from my mistake and immediately asked her to give me more details, and she just stayed silent. She was still trying, so I told her if she would just openly tell me that it was for my brother, I would help. Then she happily told me it was for him, and I told her no. I can't believe she was upset that I tricked her after what she did to me. I told her that I did not want to support him, and honestly, after the last time, I didn't want to do anything with him. Forget giving him more money. She just gave me more upset and said that I was a bad brother. I told them that if they wanted to keep supporting him, they could. I had no problem with it, but I didn't want to enable him. A few days after that, my father did the same thing to me, and I had to explain to him once more that if they had not kept bailing him out, he might have become successful by now. 2 days ago, I went home since I had an off day, and my parents kept trying to emotionally blackmail me into helping my brother. They explained that he was starting some sort of promising business, and honestly, I didn't even listen. But it did sound like a good idea. I told them that I wished him the best of luck, but other than that, he would get nothing from me. Well, my parents got super mad at me, and now my whole family is on my back to help him, telling me that everyone is pitching in, and I should too. They're telling me that I'm being a bad person by doing this, and it's making me feel terrible. But no matter how much they try, I did not give up on their demands. My girlfriend seems to think that I'm being a bad person by not helping when I can. My parents and my family are still making me feel bad about it, and it started to get to me. Now, you guys know the entire context, so can you just easily tell me, am I the a-hole for deciding not to help? Or is everyone else just being stupid by asking me? Update number 1. Hey guys, it's been 2 weeks since my last update, and let me tell you what I ended up doing, shall I? Firstly, I want to thank you guys for the support and the people who were actually trying to help me. Well, I also want to apologize in advance to the people who expected me to do something else, but I did what I felt was best. A few days after my last update, my situation remained the same. My family kept pressuring me while my own girlfriend believed that I was wrong. When I asked her about it, she said that we had enough to be able to give him without suffering, so why not help? Well, her thinking was simple. At the end of the day, he was family and family helps family. Honestly, that made me feel bad, because she was kind of right. Also, one of the responses I saw from you guys made me change my mind. It said that I only blamed my brother, but I also had given up on him. I could have kept trying, but I chose to ignore him just like he did to me. That meant that I was doing the same thing as him. I was no better and was actively avoiding him and his problems. No matter what, Rain has not had it easy in his life. An overachieving brother and bad luck make life really hard. I also never thought about how even after failing so many times, he's not given up. This made me feel like he deserved at least one chance. So, after thinking for a few days, I decided that I was going to give him a chance and pay him, and also try to build our relationship. Over the years, I thought that he had grown out of the person he was, and probably felt bad about what he did, but did not have the guts to try. Well, a few days ago, I told my family that I was going to give him the money, and they were overjoyed. I told Mother that I was going to go see him and understand the business first, and she agreed. So I texted my brother about it, and I went to see him. Well, it was actually kind of weird because this was the first time I did not see his hate openly directed at me. He was looking a bit different. His attitude towards me had changed a bit. I called him out on it, and he explained that he had just spent too much time thinking about me and hating me. He tells me that he was simply jealous of me, and the more he tried to one-up me, the worse his life got. More surprisingly, he guessed that the only reason I was here was because of my family emotionally pressuring me and telling me that it was okay if I didn't really want to help him. He said he would do me a favor and tell them that I gave him the money. I was genuinely shocked looking at this person because I felt that he could not be my brother. He was a little too understanding. Then I explained to him that although they did try, I was only here because I wanted to be. I asked him to explain what he was doing, and he explained, and it sounded pretty solid if it worked, but it was going to need a lot of hard work. I asked him if he was ready to work like that, and guys, he promised. So I told him that I was going to send him the money in a week or so. So this is what I've decided. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but I will at least not regret helping my brother. I think this is a good decision. What do you guys think? Did I do the right thing? Update number 2. Okay, it's been 2 weeks since my last update, and I messed up. I went to start this by saying that I made the biggest mistake by trusting my brother because he's even worse than I previously thought he was. He's tricked all of us, but now that I think I can do something... So, in my previous update, I went on to talk about how I decided to give my brother the money in order to help him and rebuild our relationship. I was very happy with the decision, but before I could send him the money, I had a huge problem that I needed to solve. So it took quite a long time, and I'm also glad that it did. I told my brother about it, and he had no problem waiting and told me that I could invest any time. After about a week, I found out something that made me suspicious of Rain. So last time, when he explained to me what he was planning on doing, he mentioned a partner of his who is on a bit wetter side backing him up. Well, I knew who the guy was. This was one of the main reasons, and probably other family members agreed to invest big amounts without worrying too much about it. But I recently learned that this partner of his had actually moved to a foreign country, so he definitely was not working with Rain, which meant he was lying to me, and guys, I don't know, I was just so mad. But I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I decided to visit him and see for myself. On an off day, I went to see him and told him that I had some free time and wanted to stay here and talk to him. By the way, my girlfriend at first refused to believe that he would pull anything scammy when it came to family after everything that they've done for him. Honestly, I didn't want to believe it myself, so I went to check. When Rain went to take a shower, I decided to jump on the chance to go through his phone. Fortunately, his phone was open, and I quickly skimmed through it, and I could not believe what I found. He was talking to a girl, Lizzie, and had a heart in her name, so she was probably his girl, and they were even discussing how long they had to wait. Rain was telling her that in about a month or so, they could leave after making as much money as possible. In short, he's planning on taking all of the money he collects from us and wants to dip with his girlfriend. I was so shocked with this that I remained frozen until I heard him come out. And so I kept the phone and hurried out in the living room. After a good while, I took my leave without making it look suspicious. You have no idea how glad I am that I did not send him any money. Guys, I'll tell ya, he's probably waiting for mine to go through and one more before he dips. But I won't let him. I won't. In a few days, I'm going to tell my family everything and expose his true nature. Update number 3. Hey guys, so it's been a few weeks since my last update. You're not going to believe what happened. If you're the person who's been pushing for me to do the right thing, then you're going to hate what I did. But I will also explain why. So after my last update, I immediately ran to my parents and told them that I'd discovered. At first they listened closely, but towards the end they refused to believe me. They said that they could never do something like this to them, and no matter how much I tried, I could not convince them. When I didn't stop telling them that they needed to see what I was seeing, they got mad and told me to stop doing all this. They said that if I didn't want to help him, I should not try to destroy what he's trying to do. They were genuinely disappointed in me for trying to sabotage his business, and I returned home and decided to try again. A few days later, I gathered a few close family members at my parents' place and told them the exact same thing, and my parents immediately asked me to stop. But I did not because I wanted to save them, but nobody believed me anyways, and my own parents said that I was just jealous that he was finally going to be successful, and that I was the one who was pushing him down. Well, I simply could not believe it. It was literally suffering from success is what I was doing. My parents and relatives refused to believe me because I was more successful. Guys, I joke now, but it really hurts me to hear them say that. They showed me what they really thought of me. The thing is, I've always tried to make my parents happy, and have never left them down, so where was all this coming from? I still have absolutely no idea. Well, so after trying twice, I still was not done, and tried once more about 2 weeks ago. And this time everyone humiliated me by saying that even after having so much more, I still wanted to drag Rain down. So I asked them to not believe my words, but to trust that I wanted to help them. But nobody listened. This time my parents said that if I tried to pull this one more time, they would cut me off forever. I mean, can you believe it? This is what I get for even trying to help. I don't know if you guys will understand, but this broke my heart. It made me so mad that after a week of thinking, I decided that my family deserved to be scammed. Obviously, my peace-loving girlfriend is against it, but I'm not going to keep trying. Not only that, because they refused to believe me and insulted me when I tried to help. You know, I did something more. This is the part you guys are going to absolutely hate me for, so just out of spite, I may have gone to my brother and given him an idea on how to take even more money. So I went to him. And obviously, he had most probably heard what happened. I didn't address it, and he did not bring it up, and I told him I was not going to be investigating and had changed my plans. But I was going to give him an idea. I told him that if he waited a little while and started giving back double the amount to a certain few family members who were wealthy enough, they would 100% invest more than 3 times the amount. I told him that it's an idea I had seen and found very interesting. He smiled and said, "Oh yeah, that is interesting." So, he's probably going to do it. I thought since I was letting him get away with money, why not let him take more? I think I'm doing the right thing. Please don't make me feel guilty. Final update. Hey guys, it's been a few months and I think this is the best time to write my final update. This will be the end. So, almost 2 months after my last one, my brother dipped. He ran away with his girlfriend probably weeks ago, but my family waited, thinking he would not do that to them, but after waiting for 2 weeks, their patience ran dry. Especially the ones on whom he used the technique I had suggested. So, after they realized that they could not find him and could not contact him, they figured out that I was right. They realized that everything I had said was right from the start. So, they came running to me and begged me to find him and do something about all of this. But I immediately raised my hands and told them that it was too late. I'd already warned them. It was satisfying to tell them that I told you so when they were on the verge of tears. Call it cruel if you want, but this family hurt me really badly, even though I've done nothing but help them. So when they came running, I told them that I could not do anything to help them. And even if I could, I would not. They begged, and my parents apologized. At which point I told them that I could not help them as it would mean dragging him down when he finally got successful. I told them I was not jealous of him, so I couldn't do it. After I kept refusing them a few more times, they finally gave up. And honestly, they had a ridiculous amount of loss. All of which had been avoided had they just listened to what I said before. I'm not happy with how it went down, but I do think they deserved it. But the story is not over yet. Almost a month after that, my brother calls me, asking for help. It turns out his girl had taken everything from him and left him high and dry. He was calling me asking for help, and he had betrayed everyone. I told him it sounded more like karma for what he did and told him to contact our parents. I refused to help him. It's been a week since then, and I don't think he contacted our parents, but I don't care. I've decided to forget about all this and continue with my life. What do you think? Did I do the right thing?